Hello and welcome to Apiculture video series. This is part 4. In part 3 we have covered management of colonies during different seasons and management of bee colonies for honey production. In the present video we are going to study the pests and diseases and study of bee flora. The Indian bee is comparatively free from many infectious diseases except Tay-Sachs brood virus, whereas Italian bee in other countries is known to be susceptible to diseases like fall brood, sac brood, acarine disease, etc. In our country, bee enemies are more dangerous, taking a heavy toll of life, as a result of which annually many colonies deserted by the bees. The important pests and diseases we are going to cover here, in which the four things you must remember. One is pest name, it's a scientific name, then on which stage or in where it is carrying important or which part it is going to damage, then the last thing is how to manage it. In pest, the most important and dangerous pest is wax moth, the scientifically Galleria mellonella. This enjoys worldwide distribution and occurrence has been noticed from very early days, and here combs of all the species of apis are freely attacked by this. It is one of the most important enemies of the bee colony, causing serious damage, particularly to weak colonies where the number of bees are not sufficient enough to cover all the combs. These wax moths at times decap the sealed cells, exposing the pupae inside, and this diseased condition is referred to as bald brood. The insect can be controlled by frequent examination all the crevices of the hive and removing all debris. Excess of the hive not covered by the bees are removed and stored after fumigation with ethylene bromide. In the storerooms, the spare should be stored in tightly closed containers. The second important pest is black ant, Componotus compressus, and red ant, Dorylus labiums, and Monomorium species, which are dangerous enemies. They attack weak colonies and carry away the honey, pollen, and the brood. Strong colonies are able to withstand the ants, but weak colonies ant attack will result in destruction and end of the colony. By providing ant pans around the bases of the stand or oil bands over the stand, ants can be kept away. Underground ant nests are eliminated by dusting the methyl parathion or carbaryl or pouring 0.1% chlorpyrifos solution. The third important pest is wasp. Yellow-banded hornet, that is Vespa cincta, is a large wasp with a broad transverse yield band on the abdomen. It is a social insect constructing papery nests in hollow spaces. It waits area the entrance of the hive and catches the bees. Then the bee hunter wasp, Pallalus orientalis. This is black in color with the transverse yellow lines on the abdomen, catches bee while they are on flight. The wasp can collect about 20 bees a day, stings and carries them to its underground nest and eat away. In hilly regions, another wasp is Philanthus ramakrishna that attacks and carries away bees. Next pest is wax beetle, that is Tenebroinides beetle is also its another name. Platybolium alvearum is found in the hives under unhygienic conditions, feeding on the debris and on old combs in weak colonies. Periodical examination of empty combs and regular cleaning of the bottom boards will control this enemy. Then bird, king crow, that is Dicricus species, and bee cavers, that is Merops species, capture bees and devour them. Tracheal mites, Acarapis woodi, causes acarine disease of adults. The adult mites infest the prothoracic tracheae, and by that it damages. They feed on the blood by piercing with their mouth parts through the tracheal valves. It causes K-winged condition in bees where the wings are held at unusual angle and bees are unable to fly. Bees are seen crawling in front of the hive. Next is parasitic mite, warrior destructor, then bee mites, brood mites. Brood mite is Tropilapus clariae, and other enemies like death's head moth, and many more are there, but you should remember the important enemies. Coming to the diseases, the first important disease is nosema disease. This causes dysentery in the in these particular insects. The disease is caused by protozoa Nosema apis. The flies are unable to fly and void loose excreta on the combs, frames, and ground in front of the hive. It mainly affects the flight during cold weather. An antibiotic known as fumigillin is useful in controlling the infection. Drug is administered by giving a feed of 100 mg fumigillin per colony in 250 ml of sugar syrup for 10 days continuously will control the dysentery in bees. Then broad disease, where broods suffer from variety of diseases. Loss of brood affects the colony strength. Adult bees are not affected by brood disease, but they can spread the casual organism. Brood disease are more serious than adult. These bees like European fall brood, American fall brood, sac fall brood, thigh sac brood virus, then chalk fall brood and stone brood disease. Out of these, European fall brood and thigh sac brood disease are common in India. Coming to one by one, European fall brood, that is caused by Streptococcus pluton. This was first noticed in Mahabaleshwar in Maharashtra, where it is suspected to be came from Apis mellifera, which was introduced or imported from exotic source. Disease is caused by non-spore forming bacteria Streptococcus pluton along with Bacillus LV as secondary invader. Disease affects larvae of all the castes. The symptoms are larvae turn watery, then yellow, then brown, then dark color. The tracheal system becomes visible and larvae dies in the coiled stage, causing foul smell. In advanced stage, hempy non-elastic thread are formed. Dead larvae are usually found in unkept cells with no predominant odor. The disease occurs all time where there is active brood rearing. Cells are poorly capped and mixed with normal cells. The use of antibiotic terramycin is most effective. This is dissolved in sugar syrup at the rate of 100 mg of active terramycin in a liter of syrup. Terramycin syrup is fed every seventh day. Disease can also be controlled by fumigation with ethylene oxide. Quarantine is must for this particular disease. Next is American fall brood, that is Bacillus larvae, caused by Bacillus larvae. This is affecting the bee larvae and is caused by Bacillus larvae white. The disease is prevalent in many tropical and subtropical countries. Pathogen is a rod-shaped flagellate. They dry and the cell cappings become dry, colored and sunk inwards. Now the adult bees repair the cell. The infection is spread by nurse bees engaged in cleaning the cell. The larvae which are reared in cells previously occurred by diseases have also become infected. During good nectar flow periods, the diseased colonies may recover, but during dearth period means during non-availability of pollen source or nectar, the loss are most considered. The disease can be controlled by total destruction of the diseased colony, including hive, frames, bees, and honey. The Western countries, some strains resistant to the that have been evolved. Next is sac brood disease. This is by viral attack, Apis mellifera, means virus disease which affects the Apis mellifera. The deceased larvae appear sac like and hence the name, but so far the disease is not found in India. Means wherever Apis mellifera is most preferred, this disease is found. Thigh sac brood virus. This attacks specifically Apis serena indica. The dead brood is found in propulgal and sealed stage. The pupae turns into sac-like structure filled with lemon-colored liquid at the posterior end. Advanced stage, the larvae changes their appearance from yellowish to brownish to black color. Prevention is better than cure. It is better to isolate the infected colonies. Combs from diseased colonies should not be used for any of other purpose. Means for other next perpetuation, it should not be used. And dequeening the colony for a few days followed by requeening with a healthy queen from a strong colony is effective to prevent thigh sac brood virus. As I already discussed, this is major problem in India. Next is chalk brood disease and stone brood disease. The fungus Ascophora apis that causes chalk brood only attacks larval stage. When the spores are ingested, they germinate and mycelia grows through the body, penetrates the epidermis and covering the prepupa in a short time span. They cause mummification of the deceased larvae. This is all about pests and diseases. Coming to flora and role of bees in pollination. Bee visits plants for its food, nectar, and pollen. As you know, bees are having many activities. These are just like Kamadhenu and Kalpuraksha, as I already mentioned in the previous video. This floral fidelity of bees is due to their preference for nectars having sugar contents and pollens with higher nutritive values. Besides getting food for the bees as a result of their visit, pollinate a number of crops. That means your fruits are the result of pollination. Qualities of honeybees which make them good pollinator. Body covered with hairs and has a structural adaptation for carrying nectar and pollen. Bees do not injure the plants. Adult and larvae feed on the nectar and pollen which is available in plenty. Considered as superior pollinators since store pollen and nectar for future use. No deposits in observed is observed and needs pollen throughout the year. Body size and proboscis length is very much suitable for many crops. Pollinate wide variety of crops, then forage in extreme weather conditions also. Means these can perform their activity even under extreme conditions. Coming to the effects of bee pollination on crop, increases the yield in terms of seed yield and fruit, improves quality of fruit and seed, increases oil content in seeds. So in sunflower, it must be a must in some self incompatible crops for seed set. Coming to the crops benefited by bee pollination, in fruits and nuts, almond, apple, apricot, peach, strawberry, citrus, lychee means these are bee pollinated crops. In vegetable and vegetable seed crops, cabbage, cauliflower means most of the cruciferous, then carrot, coriander, cucumber, melon, onion, pumpkin, radish, turnip. In oil seeds, sunflower, nicer, rapeseed, mustard, safflower, gingerly. In forage crop, lucerne and clover. The yield increase is expected as in mustard 43% increase in yield by bee pollination, then in sunflower 32 to 48, cotton 17 to 19, lucerne 112%, then onion 93, apple 44. Scope of beekeeping for pollination in India, the total area of bee dependent crops in India is around 50 million hectare. Coming to the management of bees for pollination, place hives very near the field source to save bees energy. Migrate colonies near field at 10% flowering. Place colonies at 3 per hectare for Italian bees and 5 per hectare for Indian honeybee. The colonies should have 5 to 6 frame strength of bees with sealed brood and young mated queen. Allow sufficient space for pollen and honey storage. The next thing is pollination by bees. case studies. This is just for your reference. I have already covered. Just read it, and some of the photographs of the attractive flowers which are pollinated, and they attract the honeybees the most for pollination and give the nectar. It is now apparent that most of the pulses, oilseeds, fruits, orchard crops, including vegetables, heavily depend on bees for their pollination. This is also true for seed production of vegetables and everything. For that, we should do, the beehives means compulsorily we should keep some beehives, or we should maintain the apiaries near to the crops which are pollinated by bees, by which we can increase the pollination as well as our fruit sets. Thank you, friends. If you have any doubts, keep it in the comment section. Keep on subscribing, liking. Thank you once again.